sometimes, I don't know, for this it's more like informal. So. Alright, hopefully this is good. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Ryan from O2BT, here with another video in our technical interview prep series. Today we're going to talk about the question, how to write a function that reverses a linked list. For this, you'll need knowledge of the linked list data structure and knowledge of basic pointers as well. Alright, let's get to it. So here we have the framework for a main program. We have two functions in it, reverse list, which we'll implement, and then print list, which is already implemented for us. And in this main program, we create a linked list of the data containing the integers 1 through 5. So our list is as follows. 1 points to 2, points to 3, points to 4, points to 5. So a pretty simple linked list. We print the list before we reverse it, and then we call this reverse list function, and then we print the list after we reverse it. And then this print list function is a pretty basic function. It just iterates through the list and prints out the data in that list. But our main concern is how to write this reverse list function. So let's talk about the idea before jumping into any coding. So we want to take a linked list that looks like this here, and we want to reverse it. So all of these pointers here, represented by the arrows, we want to rewire those, and then we also want to change the head of the linked list as well. Keep in mind here in this picture that the head is not a separate node. This is just saying it's a pointer to node 1. Okay, so the arrows are all pointers. Great. So the idea is we want to take these arrows and reverse them. So that just comes down to playing around with pointers and keeping track of our original list as well, or the remaining parts of our original list. So let's talk about the idea a little bit more formally. We want to iterate through the original list. We want to note at all times what node is behind us, what node we are looking at, and what node comes after ours. And as long as we keep track of all this data, we can easily reverse the list, because all we do is we just play around with the pointer. We just readjust the next variable in the node structure. Okay? And then at the end, we just need to return the head of the new, the reversed linked list. So here I have a little framework going for us. I declare a pointer to a node called next, and then a pointer to a node called previous. We're going to start at the very head of the list, and we're going to initialize next in just a second. But it should make sense here that previous is null, because if we're at the head of a list, there isn't an element behind us. And then the condition for reversing the linked list in this while loop here is that this should be while current is not equal to null, we're going to continue reversing the list. And you'll see why in just a bit. So inside this while loop, we have two jobs. We need to rewire the linked list, and again, that's just playing around with the pointer. And then we also need to prepare for the next iteration in the loop. So let's talk about how to rewire the linked list. We're going to say, we need to keep track of what's in front of us in order to continue reversing the linked list after this iteration. So we'll say next gets current arrow next. And so, for instance, if we're looking at this example here, when we call this function, current is set to node 1, previous is null, and so next is going to be node 2. Okay? So we're going to keep track of what is in front. And now we're going to rewire this linked list. So we'll say current arrow next equals previous. So that's going to take this pointer here and have it point behind us. So in this case, again, because previous is null, node 1 is going to point to nothing. Looking at the picture, that's exactly what we want. We want node 1 to point to nothing. Okay? So good. Now we've rewired this part of the linked list, and then since this is a loop, as long as one iteration is correct, we're going to loop through, and this will happen for the whole list. But now we need to prepare for the next iteration in the loop. So the previous pointer gets updated here to the current, because we want to move the previous pointer one node forward. likewise, our current pointer gets assigned to be the next pointer. So now we're going to be looking at node 2, and we're going to adjust this pointer here and have this pointer points backwards at node 1, and that's what the next iteration in the loop is going to do. So that's actually all there is to it, because as long as it's correct for one step, then we know it's correct for every other step. And again, the condition here is that what we're looking at is not null. So the linked list reversal will end after we get that current is equal to null, so we're right here. And then all we have to do now is return the new head of the list. And so what's the new head? Well, it's actually just going to be previous, because when we're done, previous will be pointing at node 5, and node 5 is the head of the new linked list. All right, so let's just check if this code compiles real quick. So we're going to do g++ linked list reverse.cpp. Perfect. All right, so let's fire it up. We have the linked list before reversal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the linked list after reversal 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exactly what we wanted. All right, great. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Just to recap, what we did was we took these pointers here, and all we did was just rewire them in the linked list. And in order to do that, you need to keep track of what you're looking at, what's the node before what you're looking at, and then the node after what you're looking at. And once you have this data, it's just play around with the pointers and readjust them. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Alright, take care.